All right, Khan, Shalom, Shalom, Israel, Shalom to the Torah tribes, Yasharala, giving the chorus, all honor, glory, and praise unto Yahweh Bahashem, Mahashi Yahweh Habashah. That's all praises, honor, glorification unto the Most High God, Yahweh, in the name of His only begotten Son, Yahweh. This is Brother Yasharala.
Brother Ahbayah.
Khan, coming back, y'all, with yet another video through the Spirit and power, Yahweh Bahashem, Mahashi Yahweh. All right, a Shabbat Shalom to all that's observing it today. You know, through the Spirit, another Shabbat, right? All praise to Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shah, rest day. And if you don't keep it today, hey, you know, to all that's keeping it, you know, the lunar Shabbat, whatever, all praise to the Most High and hearty Shalom. All right, much love. Also to the side of me is the soldier, mighty soldier, Brother Ahbayah, right? He got a YouTube channel, Instagram channel. That's like your Instagram page, rather. And it's titled Ahbayah, right? You just type it in. And, you know, a lot of edification going on. He's part of WFI Atlanta, you know, and you can find that on Instagram as well as YouTube. All right. So, Khan, check that out through the Spirit. But yeah, Khan, so as you can see, we're going into in-depth regeneration breakdown, right? So, yes, if you didn't know, regeneration is actually a biblical concept. We can find that in the scriptures. All right. So, I'm going to kick it off with the book of 2 Ezra 14 and verse 35. All right. And the concept of regeneration also cuts that there is this Christian concept that there's a heaven and a hell, right? As Christians will see, right? It will cut that because regeneration. We're going to get into it, but let's go to the book of 2 Ezra 14 and 35. It says, "For after death shall the judgment come." So that's when you get judged, when you die, right? After you die, right? Not by you going into heaven or going into hell. But let's read it, right? "For after death shall the judgment come, when we shall live again." So that's when your judgment comes, right? You pay for all the wickedness and the sins that you've done, either in this life right now or in the next, right? When you live again. "And then shall the names of the righteous be manifest, and the works of the ungodly shall be declared," right? So it's clearly telling you that you're going to live again, right? So your life right now is not the first time on this earth, right? And this life that you're living right now is not your first time being here, contrary to popular belief. All right. You've been here before in a different body, right? And probably in a different region of the world, right? But Khan, you got it.
This is the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 1 and verse 4. "One generation away, and another generation cometh, but the earth abideth forever." So you have different generations coming on and off the earth. One generation comes, the next generation dies. It keeps doing that and keeps doing that. The same spirits recycle back onto the earth. All right, I'm going to jump down to verse 9, and it reads, "The thing that have been, it is that which shall be, and that which is done is that which shall be done. And there is no new thing under the sun." That's why you got these same empires coming to pass. Just look at the Roman Empire and look at the American Empire right now, man. If you read about Mark chapter 12, I believe it's at 44, around there, 47, 44, something like that. It tells you about the superstition. Let me just get it real quick. Basically, they had like pennies and coins. Same way right now, when you look at the penny, it has the But this is the book of Mark, chapter 12 and verse 17, Salakia. "And Yahushua answering and said to them, render to Caesar the things that are Caesar's." Look, I'll start at verse 16. "And they brought it, and he said unto them, Whose is this image and superscription?" So basically, they brought Yahushua a coin, the same way you have a penny now. That superscription has Caesar on it, right? Nowadays, this Caesar that we have on it is Abraham Lincoln. Again, it might be George Washington. So there's nothing new under the sun. The same spirits are back on the earth right now. But let me go back to it. Ecclesiastes chapter 1 and verse 9. "The thing that have been is that which shall be, and that which is done is that which shall be done, and there is no new thing under the sun. Is there anything whereof it may be said, See, this is new? It hath been already of old time, which was before us." Because you got sun worshipers right now. Guess what? You have sun worshipers before then. Read about Acts 19. They worship different things, different goddess, right? So the same spirits are back on the earth. But you got it. It's lucky. That's why you got that saying, history repeat itself. But you got it.
That's right. That's right. And that's right. How the brother brought out, history repeats itself. That's right. Because and other historians say too that it's not really a history that repeats itself, but that man will always repeat itself, right? Himself. Why? Because it's the same spirits back on the earth, right? But that's why you got, that's why you got America being called modern day Rome, right? America is also personified or seen in the scriptures as spiritual Egypt. Why? Because America is just literally Egypt back on the earth, right? On a spiritual level. And that's why let's go to the book of Revelation 11:18, right? And that's good. That's a good point. So like Revelation 11:8, right? Revelation chapter 11 and verse 8. And it reads, right? And their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city. Whose dead bodies are those? Right? Those are the Israelites. This is literal and spiritual, right? Spiritually, because we're spiritually dead, right? You can read about that in the book of Proverbs, chapter I believe 16:21, right? Right, Proverbs 16:21, right? Let's just pull it real quick. It's the book of Proverbs, chapter 16, right? Oh, Salaki, Proverbs 21:16. Proverbs chapter 21, verse 16. The man that wandereth out of the way of understanding shall remain in the congregation of the dead. Right. So if you wander out of the way of understanding, which is what? Wandering out of the way of the commandments, right? Wandering out of the way of understanding of the knowledge, your heritage, who your God is, how to serve him, etc., then you're going to remain in the congregation of the dead. You're going to be seen as dead spiritually, right? But let's keep going. Revelation 11:8. And their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt. So this great city, which is known as Babylon the Great, aka America, right, is also known spiritually as Sodom and Egypt. You see that? Sodom, why? Because of a lot of the homosexuality and profane fornication that's going on in this country, right? As well um, when it says in Egypt, because why? The Israelites are in captivity in Babylon the Great. You see that? Just like how they were in captivity in ancient Egypt, right? So it says, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt, where also our Lord was crucified. So you got Egypt, you got Sodom, you know what I'm saying? You got Rome, Greece, back on the earth through the creation of America. You see that?
That's right. So yeah, regeneration is in the Bible. Well, you can see it through the history. In the history, you got the Romans persecuting the Jews. That's going to happen again. You had the revolts, and you have revolts now.
That's right.
You have revolts, right? Right. But let me get this one precept, Salakia. I want to touch on the thing you said as well. Because after you die, you get the judgment. Let me get this in Hebrews 9, verse 27. And it reads, Salakia. And as it is appointed unto man once to die, but judgment. Did you already pull that? Con. So once man die, when you die, hey, you go to the spiritual world, you get your judgment. After you get your judgment, you then come back to the earth and live out that judgment. That's regeneration, what people like to call reincarnation. That's why when you see people born with them limbs cut off, that's judgment from the Lord, man. Let me get precept. I don't want to steal your precept.
You got it.
What's that? Salakia. This book of John, chapter 9. Hold on. Bear with me. Book of John, chapter 9, verse 1. And it reads, And as Yahushua passed by, he saw a man which was blind from his birth. And his disciples asked him, saying, Master, who did sin, this man or his parents, that he was born blind? Because again, the disciples, they was on a different level. They knew about regeneration. So again, when you see someone's born, they might be born blind. They might have no legs, no arms, all hell breaking loose. They can't walk. They're lame when they're born. That's judgment from the Most High from their previous life. That's real judgment. So again, in simple form, in layman's terms, right? When you live out your judgment in the next life. So you got it.
That's right. That's right, man. Right? I'm gonna share my screen real quick too. All right. So this is the definition of reincarnation, right? Now, mind you, We Hebrew Israelites do not subscribe to the doctrine of reincarnation as many as Hinduism subscribes to, right? It's not the same because Hindus subscribe to the belief that in reincarnation, they believe in reincarnation, right? But in the sense that when you die, you can come back as a butterfly, as a bird, as a damn, a goat, right? That's not what we believe. That's not in the scriptures, right? When you die, you come back into your own tribe, into your own nation, right? So if you were Israelite 4,000 years ago, you won't be an Israelite still to this day, right? And preferably in the same tribe, you know what I'm saying? Especially in your same tribe. So we don't believe that, when you die, you might come back as a damn butterfly, then you get kind of swatted out the damn air, right? Then you come and you die, and then you come back as a dog, No, that's not what we believe, right? We're just putting that disclaimer out there. Reincarnation, because you have two types of terms that deal with this kind of ideology. It's a reincarnation. You got regeneration as well, right? And we can actually find this word regeneration in the scriptures, right? Try and pull from me real quick, Matthew chapter 19, verse 28, real quick.
Book of Matthew. Yeah, read. And Yahushua said unto them, verily I say unto you, that ye which have followed me in the regeneration, when the Son of Man shall sit in the throne of his glory, ye also shall sit upon 12 thrones, judging the 12 tribes of Israel.
You see that? So we find that word regeneration in the scriptures, right? We find that in the scriptures. And let's see what this is, right? Let's see their definition. It says the action or process of regenerating or being regenerated, in particular, the formation of new animal or plant tissue. Now, the concept of regeneration, or the word regeneration in like biology, is when, let's say, like for example, let's just pull up this picture. Like when now I'm not sure if this is a lizard, or I'm gonna just call him a lizard, right? I'm not a biologist or environmentalist, right? Or a zoologist, but this lizard, if his leg gets amputated or cut off, right? Rather, if it's cut off, he can actually grow that thing back, and that's what they call regeneration, right? But in regeneration, and as a biblical concept, is you coming back on the earth, like how we're demonstrating, right? You dying in your past life, right? You living as someone else, but then you going back up to the spiritual realm, and you coming back down into a new body, right? A new body, a new body, right? Around 3 or 4 generations after, right? But come, we can get into it, right? Come, the water. I'm gonna pull this precept real quick. Unless you have something to say, or you got a point. Come. Right? Okay. Let me see which one. Let's go to the book of Malachi real quick. It's the book of Malachi, chapter 3. Malachi chapter 4 and verse 5. It says, behold, I will send you Elijah the prophet before the coming of the great and dreadful day of Yahweh. So this is a prophecy. We know that in Isaiah 55 and 11, that the Lord, whatever he says, whatever proceeds out of his mouth, that's what's going to happen, right? He's not going to repent from it, right? The Lord is not a man that he should repent, right? So he said, behold, I will send you Elijah the prophet. But Elijah, this is the time of Malachi. Elijah has been dead, right? Or not dead, but he already went up into the spiritual realm, right? He got caught up in the third heaven, right? With the whirlwind. You can read about that in the book of Second Kings chapter 2, right? So like I said, dead, I don't mean dead, right? He got caught up in the third heaven, right? So when is the Lord going to send Elijah the prophet back down? When is he going to do that? Right? He did that during the time of Mahashiach Yahushua. Let's go to the book of Matthew chapter 11. let's just pull this real quick, right? Matthew chapter 11 and verse number 11, right? It says, "Verily I say unto you, among them that are born of a woman, there hath not risen a greater than John the Baptist. Notwithstanding, he that is least in the kingdom is greater than he. And from the days of John the Baptist until now, the kingdom of heaven suffereth violence, and the violent take it by force. For all the prophets and the law prophesied until John." Who is this John? John is talking about John the Baptist, right? "And if you will receive it, this is Elijah's, which was for to come." It's plain, bruh. Yahweh Shah is straight telling the people and the disciples that's round about him. He's saying, look, John the Baptist is Elijah that was forth to come, because Elijah had to fulfill that prophecy that's written in Malachi 4:5, or else the Most High is a liar, right? And Shalom, mighty brother Masha, right? Shalom, shalom, right? Khan, you got it, King.
Precept, and let me back on what he was saying. Even though it was asking Yahweh, well, Yahweh asked, "Who do man say I am?" Let me get that real quick in Matthew chapter 16 and verse 13. When Yahweh came into the coast of Caesarea Philippi, he asked the disciples, saying, "Whom do men say that I, the Son of Man, am?" And they said, "Some say that thou art John the Baptist, some Elias, which is Elijah, and others Jeremiah or one of the prophets." Because again, we was on a higher level than back then. So they were saying, that's Jeremiah back on the earth. That's Elijah back on the earth. John the Baptist just died. They're already saying that that's John the Baptist back on the earth, man. Because they knew about regeneration. And it reads, verse 15, he said unto them, "But whom say ye that I am?" And Simon Peter answered and said, "Thou art Hamashiach, the Son of the living God." Straight like that. Well, again, the point is, they knew about regeneration. That's why they said these different names of our forefathers back then.
That's right. Why would they be saying, and Christians have to answer to this, right? They probably think we're crazy subscribing to the doctrine of regeneration. What? Regeneration? Ha, ha, ha. Laughing at us. You really believe that, right? Mocking you. I saw a video, Vocab Malone, he's kind of mocking the doctrine, of regeneration, right? He kind of, he was kind of mocking it. Hey, it's in the script. Hey, how can you rebuttal that? Why would they be saying, if this wasn't a colloquial and a common idea going around in the ancient world, in ancient Israel, why would they be saying that Yahweh Shah is Jeremiah back on the earth? Yahweh Shah is so and so back on the earth. Maybe one of the prophets, right? Why would they be? Why would that kind of thoughts be in their mind, right? Khan, if y'all can send the precepts after that. Khan, we got you, King, through the Spirit, right? Lord willing, right? But yeah, Khan, let's go to the book. Yeah, let's post some more precepts, man. That's a cold cut. Yeah, Khan, right? Let's go to the book of. Damn. Well, let's go into Yahweh Shah's many regenerations, all right? Let's go into that. Because Yahweh Shah was regenerated. He didn't just cut. Hey, don't just think you pull up, Matthew 1:1, right? That's it. That's the only appearance of Yahweh Shah in the scriptures. Really? Right? You read Matthew, Matthew chapter 4. That's Yahweh Shah, he was tempted, right? That's the only time Yahweh Shah was on the scene, man. Right? No, he was here. Yahweh Shah was on the earth before he came as Mahashiach, right? If you can understand that. All right, let's go to the book. First, let's go to the book of 2 Samuel. This is a cold cut. I don't see how you can get around this. Let's go to 2 Samuel 7, right, in verse 12. So we all know, right, Ecclesiastes 1:9. Come on. Real quick, let's get this. 2 Samuel chapter 7, verse 12, right? "And when thy days be fulfilled, and thou shalt sleep with thy fathers." This is talking about This is talking about David. All right. I will set up thy seed after thee, which shall proceed out of thy bowels, and I will establish his kingdom. Right. He shall build an house for my name. So that's talking about that's talking about his son, which is Solomon. Right. We all know about King Solomon, right? It says he shall build an house for my name, and I will establish the throne of his kingdom forever. I will be his father, and he shall be my son. Right? Here's the point. If he commit iniquity, did Solomon commit iniquity? Yes, he did. You can read about that in 1 Kings chapter 11, verse 1. I would chasten him with the rod of men and with the and with the stripes of the children of men. So when did Solomon get beat the hell up with stripes? When did he get whipped? Right? Show me that. Pull up the account. All right? Brothers about to pull up some strange book.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Hey, brother, it's here in the book of Adam and Eve. We're not dealing with that, man. Pull it up in the scriptures right now. Right? You can't. Because he got whipped in the New Testament. See, brothers, hey, they can't understand that. They can't understand it. Right? Hey, you trying to pull for me real quick, John 19:1. Let's just establish. I'm gonna give it to you. Right?
Take your time.
Come.
Let's go to John chapter 19 and verse 1. Then Pilate therefore took Yahushua and him.
And what?
And scourged him.
Right?
In the
that's it on that? Or okay, yeah. So he scored. So Yahushua, he got scourged. So he had to fulfill that prophecy, right? So that's how Yahushua paid for his sins in the life of that he came as Mahashiach Yahushua. You see that? Because yes, Yahushua did commit sin, right? He was going off by or Salaki, not Yahushua, Salak, King Solomon, Yahushua as King Solomon, right? We'll put it like that. He did commit sin because he was messing around with the damn Zidonians, right? Canaanite woman, and he was also worshiping other gods. His heart was turned away from the Most High, right? So, Khan, you got it, King.
That's right. So he had so many guest appearances. It's not even funny, right? The same way you might be watching, you might watch Disney Channel or something. You might get that. You got the director or whoever it is who came up with the show. You might see him pop up in these shows as a guest starring, appearance and stuff. Same thing with Yasharala. He just pops up whenever, and sometimes, man. Right. So I'm gonna get this real quick because he popped up to Abraham as Melchizedek. Right. So this is the book of Genesis, chapter 14, and verse 18. It reads, "And Melchizedek, king of Salem, brought forth bread." And Melchizedek, king of Salem, brought forth bread and wine, and he was the priest of the Most High God. And that's Yahushua. Melchizedek is Yahushua, because Yahushua is the of the Most High God. And it says king of Salakia. Let me read it again. And Melchizedek, king of Salem. And Yahushua, he's the king of Salem, or king of Shalom, which means peace. I'm gonna get this real quick. Salakia. Let me get this one precept. The proof to Melchizedek is Yahushua. Book of Hebrews, chapter 7, and verse 1. And it reads, "For this Melchizedek, king of Salem, priest of the Most High God, who made Abraham returning from the slaughter of the kings and blessed him." Verse 3, I'm going to jump down to verse 3, or we can keep going. Verse 2, "To whom also Abraham gave a tenth part of all, first being by interpretation king of David, and after that also king of Salem, which is king of peace." And again, Yahushua is called the king of peace, the prince of peace. Verse 3, "Without father, without mother, without descent, having neither beginning of days nor end of life, but made like unto the Son of God, abideth a priest continually." So Melchizedek, he didn't have a mother, a carnal mother or a carnal father. He kind of just was called materialized on the earth, right? And he disappeared. And when you jump down to verse Hebrews 7 and 14, it reads, "For it is evident that our Lord sprang out of Judah, of which tribe Moses spake nothing concerning priesthood. So again, that young Melchizedek is talking about Yahushua. I'm gonna get one more precept to validate what I speak on. Psalm chapter 110 and verse 4. The Lord hath sworn and will not repent. Thou art a priest forever after the order of Melchizedek. So the Lord is the priest. He's the priest for the Most High God after the order of Melchizedek, because Yahushua was Melchizedek. Okay.
That's right, man. That's right. And also, I kind of skipped over a point too. Watch, I'm gonna share my screen, right? Go to 2 Samuel chapter 7. Everybody got to see this, right? Are the Hebrew Israelites going crazy? Are they just delusional? Or are we actually just trying to read the scriptures, right? Because watch this. All right, can you see it?
Come.
All right, let's go to 2 Samuel 7 and 13, right? He shall build an house for my name, right? Because Solomon did build a house, right, for the Most High. You can read about that in Acts chapter 7, verse 48 as well, but Solomon built him a house, right? And it says, and I will establish the throne of his kingdom forever. Wait a minute. How long did King Solomon reign? He only reigned for 40 years, right? King Solomon is not reigning still. Yeah, go to Israel right now. See if King Solomon is there reigning, right, on the throne. He's not there. He's been out, right? Yeah, kind of like he ended his rulership at like 900 BC, right? The 900 BC. That's like 900 years ago. That's like 1,000 years ago, right? Over 1,000 years ago, right? So he's been out of the throne. But Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, through the Spirit is saying, I will establish the throne of his kingdom forever. Right? So are we just going crazy, or it's either these things, right? That the Most High is a liar, which we already know is not true, right? Either the Most High is a liar, or King Solomon is Yahweh Shah through the regeneration, right? Because we know that Yahweh Shah's kingdom is going to stand forever, right? Let's go to the book of Daniel chapter 7. Prove that, right? Because in the kingdom, when the kingdom of heaven is established under Yahweh Shah, there's not going to be Edomite overthrow, and then the Edomites kind of overthrow Yahweh Shah for a while, kicks him out the throne. Then this Edomite reigns, for about like 5 years, and then kind of cap the get the kingdom back from him, and then peace is established once again. No, all right. Let's go to the book of Daniel chapter 7 and verse 13, right? I saw in the night visions, and behold, one like the Son of Man, and came with the clouds of heaven, right? Who's the Son of Man? Yahweh Shah, right? He came with the clouds of heaven. That's talking about the chariots, and came to the Ancient of Days, and they brought him near before him, and there was given him dominion and glory and a kingdom. This kingdom is the kingdom of heaven, right? That all people, nations, and languages should serve him. His dominion is an everlasting dominion which shall not pass away, and his kingdom that which shall not be destroyed. That's the throne of the kingdom that's going to be established forever, right? Not King Solomon's, but it's going to be Yahweh Shah's, and we're proving that Yahweh Shah is King Solomon. You see that? So, Khan, it's that same connection there, right? But Khan, you got it.
Khan, yeah, that's evidently clear. Was Yahweh Shah? Because first of all, that's why they call him the son of David. Yahweh Shah, he was literally the son of David, but and he comes down from the bloodline of David, right? But are you still trying to prove that Solomon is Yahweh Shah?
Yeah, I got one more precept unless you got one.
Con, you got it.
Con, this is the book of Matthew 1 and 1. When I read Matthew 1 and 1, I was like, oh yeah, huh? It says it right there. Look, watch. Let's go to Matthew 1 and 1. the book of the generation of Yahweh Mahashiach, the son of David, the son of Abraham, right? So Yahweh is both of those things. He's the son of David and the son of Abraham. How's he the son of David? Well, of course, because he literally comes from David, right? Through the seed, which cuts the Immaculate Conception, right? But also that what King Solomon, King David, although he had multiple sons, the one who inherited the throne was, of course, King Solomon. So Yahweh Shah is the son of David because he was Solomon, right? And he's also the son of Abraham because he was Isaac. But that's another reincarnation. You got it.
That's right.
Come on.
It's Yahushua. Even Yahushua, he's all throughout the Old Testament. He was in the wilderness with our forefathers, man. Let me get
Damn, yeah.
This is the book of Exodus, chapter 23. Let me see. Verse 20. Behold, I send an angel before thee to keep thee in the way and to bring thee into the place which I have prepared. Beware of him and obey his voice. Provoke him not, for he would not pardon your transgressions, for my name is in him. Straight like that. The Most High name is in Yahushua. Right? I'm going to get this one precept to prove that this is Yahushua, because even Paul spoke about it. This is the book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 10 and verse 9. Neither let us tempt Christ, as some of them also tempted and were destroyed of serpents. You see that? And when were they destroyed of serpents? In the wilderness. Showing you that Christ was the angel in the wilderness, and it was tempting Christ in that wilderness, man. And neither murmur ye, as some of them murmured and were destroyed of the destroyer. So Christ was in the wilderness with us. But a lot of people tempted him by being, begging him for flesh to eat. And the Lord killed them while the flesh was yet in their mouth.
Damn. Con, that's right. Hey, that's another regeneration. Well, that's not. I wouldn't say that's like a regeneration per se, but definitely Yahweh Shah was there because, of course, through the angel, right? And of course, Yahweh Shah, in a symbolic sense, was the rock in which spewed out that water, for the children of Israel. You know what I'm saying? So that's how the Lord also rose too, right? Let's go to the book of right. Let's prove that Yahweh Shah was Isaac as well, right? That's another regeneration. Because we're going to give examples of regeneration, right? Through the Spirit. So we already proved that Elijah is John, right? John the Baptist. So let's go to Yahweh Shah being Isaac. Let's go to the book of, let's see. Yeah, we can go to Galatians 3 and 16, right? It's the book of Galatians, chapter 3 and verse 16. Right? Galatians 3 and 16. And it reads, now to Abraham and his seed were the promises made. He saith not, and to seeds as of many, right? But as of one. So the promises, though Abraham did have a lot of children, promises didn't go to all his children. The promises didn't even go to Ishmael. It went to Isaac, right? You read about that in the book of Genesis, right? It says, he said not, and to seeds as of many, but as of one, and to thy seed, which is Mahashiach. So the promises went to, of course, it went to Isaac. So it went from Abraham, Isaac to Jacob. That's how it went, the promises, right? And the covenants and all this, right? But it went to Isaac. It didn't go to Mahashiach, right? Mahashiach wasn't there, but he was there because he was Isaac. You see that? Let's just read it again. It says, now to Abraham and his seed were the promises made. He said not, and to seeds as of many, but as of one, and to thy seed, which is Mahashiach. Because it went from Abraham to Isaac and to Jacob, right? The promises. And so we know that the promises from Abraham it went to Isaac. But Paul is saying that it went to Mahashiach. So he's basically saying that Yahweh Shah is Isaac and Isaac is Yahushua. You see that? Come.
Another precept on that too. When you, there's different accounts. I'm gonna get the first one before the other one. Yeah, even when you read Genesis chapter 18, the Lord said He would come, and what's it called? Let me just get it real quick. Bear with me. Genesis chapter 18. Genesis 18 is when the Lord came with two angels to speak with Abraham. The Lord said to him that He would come to him in life. So bear with me. Let me find it real quick. There's a book of Genesis chapter 18 and verse 10, and it reads, "And He said, I will certainly return unto thee according to the time of life." Now, what's the time of life? You can read about that in Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 7. Bear with me. Let me get that too. Precept upon precept. Right. This book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 7, and verse 1. Myself also am a mortal man, like to all, and the offspring of him that was first made of the earth. And in my mother's womb was fashioned to be flesh in the time of 10 months, being compacted in blood of the seed of man and the pleasure that comes with sleep. Right? So that's what Yahushua was talking about. He would come to Abraham in the time of life, meaning Abraham will go into Sarah again. They will have a kid, which is Isaac. I'm going to read it again, Genesis 18 and 10. And He said, I will certainly return unto thee according to the time of life. And lo, Sarah thy wife shall have a son. And Sarah heard it in the tent door, which was behind him. And that's true. Sarah did have a son, which was Isaac. And Isaac was Yahushua. You have another precept. If you don't, I can get one.
You got it.
So now let's go to, excuse me. So I get Genesis chapter 22 and verse 6, and it reads, And Abraham took the wood of the burnt offering and laid it upon Isaac's son. And he took the fire in his hand and a knife, and they went both of them together. So he was on his way to go ahead and offer Isaac, as a sacrifice, like the Most High told him to do. Verse 7. And Isaac spake unto Abraham his father and said, My father. And he said, Here am I, my son. And he said, Behold, the fire and the wood, but where is the lamb for a burnt offering? So Isaac saying, you got the fire, you got everything you need for a sacrifice, but where's the burnt offering? Verse 8. And Abraham said, My son, God will provide himself a lamb for a burnt offering. So they both of them, so they went both of them together. So it's kind of symbolic. Isaac was supposed to be that lamb, but it wasn't at that time yet. Later throughout life, Yahushua was that lamb that got put to death for the nation of Israel. So,
That's a good point. That's a good point, man. Right? Time and the place for everything wasn't time yet. And also on another deeper level, we know that Isaac, he kind of had favoritism towards Esau. Why? Because Esau was a man in the field, right? And because of his vengeance, right? Because he was a hunter, basically, right? A mighty hunter, kind of like on the left-hand side, And so Isaac kind of like that, right? And we know that Yahushua is also a man of war, right? And Yahushua is a man, right? Having the manly characteristics, you know what I'm saying? He was stern and he was a hard man, like it says in the book of Matthew 25. So, that kind of also shows that Isaac has some of the same characteristics that Yahushua would, right? So
that's right.
That's right. And we know that Isaac was special because literally the promises skipped Ishmael and went straight to Isaac. Right? Although he was the firstborn, Ishmael was the firstborn. It was supposed to go to him, but it went to Isaac. Right? So yeah.
Let me get some Salakia.
You got it.
In 17, it even tells you that Isaac was the only begotten. Hebrews chapter 11 and 17. By faith, Abraham, when he was tried, offered up Isaac, and he that received the promises offered up his only begotten son. And who's else the only begotten son? The Son of Man himself, Yahushua. Another comparison.
You see that, bro? That's right. Con. Yeah, con. That's right. That's right. Let's get another regeneration. Yahweh Shah is also Eliakim, the son of Hilkiah, right? I like saying that name, bro. It's kind of funny. Eliakim, the son of Hilkiah. It's the book of Revelation, chapter 3, and verse 7. And to the angel of the church in Philadelphia, write, these things saith he that is holy, he that is true, he that hath the key of David. So Yahweh Shah, highlight that part, right? Yahweh Shah has the key of David, right? He that shutteth and no man, Slakia, he that openeth, no man shutteth, and shutteth and no man openeth. So let's see who also has the key of David, right? And let's see who also can open and no man can shut, and shut that no man can open, right? Let's see, because we're going to see the same phraseology in the book of Isaiah, right? Let's go to the book of Isaiah, chapter 22, verse 20, right? It says, I'm going to start at verse 19. It says, and it shall come to pass in that day that I'll call my servant Eliakim the son of Hilkiah, and I'll clothe him with thy robe and strengthen him with thy girdle, and I'll commit thy government into his hand. So Yahweh Shah, of course, in the kingdom is going to be in control of the government of Israel, right? Because yes, you're going to have a government in Israel, right? It's not just going to be because the Most High, he's a God of order. Let all things be done decently and in order, right? The Most High, he's a God of order. That's what he deals with. He deals with hegemonies, hierarchies, right? Structures, right? Et cetera, et cetera. That's how the Most High deals. You even have a hierarchy of angels, right? You got chief angels, archangels, you just regular angels. You got angels on the left-hand side, angels on the right-hand side. You know what I'm saying? Khan, you got Yahweh Shah, and you also got Michael, right? So you have even a hierarchy in the heavens. So that's the Most High. He just deals. That's how he deals. He's a God of order. So of course you're going to have a government, right? And Yahweh Shah is going to be the head of that government, right? And he shall be a father to the inhabitants of Jerusalem and to the house of Judah. So yes, Yahweh Shah is also our father. That's when you read in the book of Isaiah 9 and 6 that Salaki, let me just pull it real quick. It's a teaching point. It's a teaching point, right? Let's go to Isaiah 9 and 6, right? For unto us a child is born. Everybody will agree that this is talking about Yahweh Shah. Unto us the son is given, and the government shall be upon his shoulder, right? And his name shall be called Wonderful, Counselor, the Mighty God, the Everlasting Father, the Prince of Peace. You see that? So Yahweh Shah is called the Everlasting Father. That doesn't mean that he's the Father, right? Stop. No. Stop with the oneness doctrine. That doesn't mean that Yahweh Shah is the Father, right? He's the Father because he's going to be a father to the inhabitants of Jerusalem, right? On a level, because Yahweh Shah is our Father, just like how Yahweh Shah is our God, right? But we just don't put him on that same pedestal as we put with the Most High, all right? Let's go back to this though. So here's a point. It's the book of Isaiah, chapter 20, and verse 22. And the key of the house of David will I lay upon his shoulder, so he shall open and none shall shut, and he shall shut and none shall open. You see that? That's talking about Yahweh Shah, right? So with this comparison, we can tell that Eliakim, the son of Hilkiah, is Yahweh Shah. And we can't really read about him that much in the scriptures. He's kind of a mysterious man. That's how we know this is talking about Yahweh Shah, right? And because of the same phraseology in Revelation 3 and 7, right? And the key, Khan, and real quick, he can shut. Basically, Yahweh Shah has control over your mind. Basically, he can open it and he can shut it, right? Khan, you got it.
And he was also Zerubbabel as well, and Joshua the high priest. Zerubbabel represent his they called him a governor because at that time they call him a king. They had to call him a governor, and Joshua represent the priesthood of Yahushua. But this Haggai chapter 2 verse 21 speak to Zerubbabel, governor of Judah, saying, I will shake the heavens and the earth. So who's the governor of Judah? It just says Zerubbabel, the governor of Judah, who was also known as the governor of Judah. If you read Matthew chapter 2 and verse 6, it reads, and thou, Bethlehem, in the land of Judah, are not the least among the princes of Judah, for out of thee shall come a governor that shall rule my people Israel. And who was that? Yahushua himself. So Zerubbabel was Yahushua as a governor. He came back. Zerubbabel came back as Yahushua because they're both the same people.
Damn. That's right. All praise to Yahushua, man. It's the deep mysteries. Come. Let's go to the book of Psalms 104. All right, we can pull this. It's the book of Psalms chapter 104 and verse 29. Right? It says, thou hidest thy face, they are troubled. Thou takest away their breath, they die and return to their dust. Thou sendest forth thy spirit, they are created, and thou renewest the face of the earth. You see that? So the Lord renews the face of the earth. You see that? So that's basically regeneration. The Most High, because let's go to the book of Genesis chapter 2. All right. Genesis chapter 2 and verse 1. Thus, right? Hold on. Come on. Thus the heavens and the earth were finished, and all the hosts of them. And on the seventh day, God ended his work which he had made, and he rested on the seventh day from all his work which he had made. And God blessed the seventh day and sanctified it, because that in it he had rested from all his work which the Most High created and made. You see that? So the Most High, it took him 6 days, which is a period actually of 6,000 years. But it took him that dispensation of time, and on the seventh day, what? It ended. So that's when the creation, it was done, right? It was done. He stopped creating more spirits and new spirits. So what does he do with those spirits that he created? He just renews them, right? It's like recycling. The Most High recycles the spirits. You know what I'm saying? So come.
Yeah, so like a recycle, like the brother said, man. The spirits going fro. When you die, it goes back to the heaven. It gets judged. Then 2,000 years later, it comes back on the earth as the same spirit. So whatever you was doing, years before, when you was on the earth before, it's the same way you're doing what you're doing right now. If you was being wicked and a scoffer, bucking up against your Yahushua, that's what you're doing now. If you was righteous, prophesying with the shaking of the hand, that's what you're doing right now. You got the same mannerisms. You probably got the same slang, the same what's it called? What's that thing called? Is that called lisp? I forgot what it's called. The way you talk, you slur your words. If you had that before, you got it right now. All right? So there's nothing new under the sun. Let me see what precept I want to get. So let me get this real quick. Because even Job prophesied him about being over here, man. Job knew who's going to be back on the earth. Let me get that real quick. It was Job chapter 19. I'll start at verse 25. For I know that my Redeemer liveth, and that he shall stand at the latter day upon the earth. And though after my skin worms destroy his body, yet in my flesh shall I see God. You see that? Job just said after worms and stuff like that destroy his body, meaning after he died, he's going to come back on the earth again, and in the flesh, he's going to see the Most High God. And that can be kind of hard to understand, but based again, what he's saying is he's going to die, the worm's going to eat up his body, his flesh, his old flesh going to return to the dust that made it, like it says in Ecclesiastes, going to return to the spirit world, he's going to come back down in a regeneration, and again in his flesh, in his new life, which is right now, you're going to see the Most High God while Yahweh Shah coming back with power and glory. That's the regeneration precept. Let me get this real quick. Basically, to clarify what he was saying. Look up Ecclesiastes 12 and verse 7, and it reads, "Then shall the dust return to the earth as it was." And that's exactly what he said. When he died, his flesh going to return back to the dust, because you was born from the dust. You're going to return to the dust, right? And the spirit shall return to the Most High who gave it. And your spirit, when you die, your spirit going to return to the Most High. Then you're going to get judged. Then after some time, in new season, you're going to return your spirit back to the earth. You're going to be born of a woman. And now you're back on the earth, which is right now. And this is your last life. Because this life is judgment time. It's judgment time, man. Come on.
That's right, man. Hey, let's get this precept. All right, all you who don't believe in regeneration, all right, but you're gonna have to answer some questions, man. All right, let's go to the book of Matthew, chapter 26, and verse 63. Right, it says, "But Yahushua held his peace, and the high priest answered and said unto him, I adjure thee by the living God, that thou tellest whether thou be the Mahashiach, the Son of God." Right? Oh my gosh, this is a cut, man. Right? Let's keep reading. Yahushua saith unto him, "Thou hast said," right? You said it, right? "Nevertheless, I say unto you, hereafter shall ye see the Son of Man sitting on the right hand of power and coming in the clouds of heaven." Right? You see that? So Yahushua is talking to Caiaphas, right? That's what it says in verse 57. That was the high priest. But pull up the account in the scriptures. Pull it up. Maybe it's in the book of Acts. Maybe it's, in one of the epistles. Maybe Paul talks about it. But pull it up, man. Right? Maybe it's in Revelation. But pull up the account when Yahushua pulled up on Caiaphas, right? With with the clouds of heaven, man. And Caiaphas looking up and seeing Yahushua sitting on the right hand of the Most High. Right? Pull that account up. Where is it? Can we where can we read that at? Or where can we read that in history? It didn't happen. You see that? So this is talking about in Caiaphas, he's already dead. All right? He's gone. Now he might be back on the earth. You see that? He might be back on the earth right now. And when Yahushua comes back, makes his second coming, you best believe Caiaphas is going to be alive to see that thing, but in a different body. Right? You see that? So, hey, Christians, anybody that believes in the Bible, you're going to have to explain this. Now, there is an explanation that they try to explain. Now, if you're a preterist, which, is dumb as hell, but if you're a preterist, even a partial preterist, right? Remember, preterism, let me just pull it up, right? It's a teaching point, right? Let's pull this up real quick, right? Because we have to understand like these different theologies so that when we're encountering them, we know we know exactly what they're talking about, exactly what they believe in, and automatically just quickly shut them down through the spirit and power of Yahweh. So this is a preterism, right? It's a Christian eschatological view that interprets some or all prophecies of the Bible as events which have already happened. So they'll say that Caiaphas did see Yahushua when he came back during 70 AD. Bro, you gotta be kidding me, bro. You gotta be kidding me, right? We could be. And hold up now, right? Hold up now. Caiaphas was. First of all, Salak, let me just get the creature, right? Let's go to the book of Matthew, chapter 24. It's the book of Matthew, chapter 24, verse 15. Now, Caiaphas, believe it or not, actually believed that Yahushua was Mahashiach. You can read about that in the book of John, chapter 11, right? He actually believed that Yahushua was the Mahashiach that was forth to come. That's why, he said, hey, let's put this man to death, right? Because we have to, according to the prophecies. But it says Matthew 24, Matthew 24, 15. When ye therefore shall see the abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel the prophet stand in the holy place, whoso readeth, let him understand. What's the abomination? Desolation is when a stinky homosexual pedophile Edomite walks into the holies of holies, right? It says what? Then let them which be in Judea flee into the mountains. So, being that Caiaphas believed in Yahushua, right? He might have actually done this. He might have actually left Jerusalem. So how could he had seen Yahushua if Yahushua came during 70 AD to Jerusalem, right? Doesn't make any sense. It just but anyone that's not a preterist, right? Because there's not many preterists out there. Explain that scripture. Con, you got it.
Yeah, that's madness. I was just going to say, you can read verse 29 in that same chapter 2.
Mm-hmm. You said, which chapter?
26 and 29. Matthew 26.
Con, you said what precepts? Like
Matthew 26 and 29.
Con. Yeah, hey, bring it up.
Just book of Matthew, chapter 26 and verse 29. But I say unto you, I will not drink henceforth of this fruit of the vine until that day when I drink it new with you in my Father's kingdom.
Mm.
The same precept he pulled with the regeneration, the 12 apostles judging the 12 tribes, is basically the same thing right here. The Lord said he going to drink the vine, which is wine, with them new in the kingdom of heaven. Just another regeneration precept showing you that we'll be regenerated. Well, some not. Hey, you have some people, Salaki, who's not going to die in this thing, man.
Mm-hmm.
If you have ears to hear. Okay. Do you know that precept where he said that? Or is it in the same verse you pulled out?
Nah, it's not there though. It's not there. Damn, I forgot where that precept says. Like, right, there shall be some kind. I know what you're talking about though.
Let me see. Bear with me. Give me 1 second. 1 second. It's straight though. If you know, then you know. But I got another precept. This is second Esdras, chapter 16 and verse 17. Now this is Esdras, man, right? Woe is me, who would deliver me in those days. So Esdras seeing all these visions. He's seeing all hell break loose. Seeing what's it called, the eschaton, something like that.
Yeah, the eschaton con.
Right. He's seeing all these prophetic things happening in the last days, and he's saying, woe is me, who going to deliver me in those days, man? Because he knew he would be in that day. He wouldn't say that if he wouldn't come back on the earth, but guess what? Ezra, or Esdras in the Greek, he knew that regeneration is real, and he's going to be back on the earth. Job knew, what's it called? Regeneration is real, and he's going to be back on the earth. Yahushua knew, Peter knew, everybody knew, man, in this thing, man. But how come you don't know? You got all of our forefathers knowing about regeneration, but you don't know, man. You got to get your spirit right, King. Or Aquath.
God, that's right, man. That's right. Let's go to the hey, watch this, right? Let's go to Acts chapter 1. Acts chapter 1 and verse 5. For John truly baptized with water, but ye shall be baptized with the Holy Spirit not many days hence. When they therefore were come together, they asked of him, saying, Lord, wilt thou at this time restore again the kingdom to Israel? You can still say that all nations could be saved. Right? Verse 7. And he said unto them, it is not for you to know the times or the seasons. You say, hey, don't trip. You know what I'm saying? Don't trip on it. Right? I'm gonna do it. Don't worry. Right? The kingdom's gonna come to Israel. But don't trip about that, right? It's not for you to know the times and the seasons, right? Which the Father had put in his own power. But you shall receive power after that the Holy Spirit is come upon you, and ye shall be witnesses unto me, both in Jerusalem and in all Judea and in Samaria and unto the othermost part of the earth. And when he had spoken these things, while they beheld, he was taken up, and a cloud received him out of their sight. So Yahweh was taken up by a chariot, right? It's not a literal cloud, right? A damn, what do they call it? Like a stratus cloud or something like that, coming up, right? Kind of lets down some water, some rain, and then Yahweh like actually going up to a cloud. It's going into a chariot, all right? Which makes more sense, you know what I'm saying? Like, just him going into a chariot, a cloud or a chariot, making all this noise, bright lights, right? Receiving Yahweh, kind of stirring up the wind, that would make more sense. It says,
it's like I get a precept for that too. In Psalm 4 and verse 3, who layeth the beams of his chambers in the waters, who maketh the clouds his chariot, who walketh upon the wings of the wind. Just to validate what you just said.
The water. Yeah, that's right. See that? Who maketh the clouds his chariot. All right. Verse 10. And while they looked steadfastly toward heaven, as he went up, behold, two men stood by them in white apparel. These are angels, right? Which also said, ye men of Galilee, why stand ye gazing up into heaven? This same Yahweh, which is taken up from you into heaven, shall so come in like manner as ye have seen him go into heaven, right? So, Salaki, that's not what I wanted. But, the Spirit had me bring that out anyway. But basically, these men that are beholding Yahweh are going to see him come like in that same way, right? When he comes back down to the earth, right? And Salaki, I'm going to just link this up with Revelation 1:7, right? Salaki, I thought, that was a precept that really wasn't. Let's go to Revelation 1:7. Behold, he cometh with clouds. And these clouds, like we established in the Spirit, are chariots. And every eye shall see him, and they also which pierced him. And all kindreds of the earth shall wail because of him, even so. Amen. How are the people that pierced Yahweh, which was over 2,000 years ago, how are they going to witness his second coming? That doesn't make any sense if you don't believe in regeneration. It only works when you subscribe to the doctrine of regeneration. That's the only way they're going to be able to see his coming back, right? Because it says, behold, he cometh with clouds, every eye shall see him, and they also which pierced him. Who pierced Yahweh? The Romans, right? The damn wicked, the wicked Jews, right? Who said, we have no king but Caesar, right? Hey, they pierced Yahweh. But guess what? When Yahweh comes back, he's going to see him, and they're going to see him, right? And he's going to do away with it, right? So, Khan, you got it.
I'm still looking for that one precept about let me still look it up. Give me 1 second.
And Shalom Tazaiyar Gabar, right? Shalom King, right? Khan.
So give me 1 second. Hold on.
And also, if any brothers that's watching right now wants to get on, drop a few presets, man, drop a few points. You know what I'm saying? A link. I'm gonna drop the link in the chat, man. All right. I'm gonna drop the link in the chat. Go ahead, click the link. You know what I'm saying? Hide not wisdom in her beauty. Khan, you got a king.
Khan, this is Matthew chapter 16 and verse 28. Verily I say unto you, there be some standing here which shall not taste of death till they see the Son of Man coming in his kingdom. And we already know these men right here, they did die, right? But it's a whole nother breakdown for another day. But the point is, they're going to be regenerated back and be delivered and saved into heaven. They're not going to die and get destroyed. In layman's terms. On the surface level breakdown.
Right, that's right, man. That's right. I got some other precepts too, man. Got my notes, man. Right? That's right. So Yahweh also was Adam, right? We perceive through the Spirit that Yahweh was Adam as well, right? Let's go to the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 15. And we know that the world was made for the sake of Yahweh, right? Which will only make sense because why would, if the world was made for the sake of Yahweh, right? Because let's go to the book of Colossians chapter 1 real quick, right? This is Colossians chapter 1 and verse Colossians chapter 1 and verse, yeah, right. I'm gonna start at verse 16. For by him were all things created that are in heaven and that are in earth, visible and invisible, whether they be thrones or dominions or principalities or powers. All things were created by him and for him. So Yahweh Shah created all these things that we see before our eyes. But it was created for him, right? It was created by him and for him. So it would just make sense for him to be living amongst his creations, right? In order for him to enjoy it. Why would he just create it, right? And we know in the Lord, he can do, as he will. But why would he just create it? That and the Father, allows him to create all these things and he's just sitting up in the heavens, right? He's never coming down. The only time he came down was when he was suffering for a damn 33 years, right? No, he came down, a multiplicity of times before that, right? But let's get this in book 1 Corinthians chapter 15. 1 Corinthians 15 and verse 44. It is sown a natural body. It is raised a spiritual body. There is a natural body and there is a spiritual body, right? And so it is written, the first man, Adam, was made a living soul. The last man, Adam, was made a quickening spirit. You see that? So the first man, Adam, which is the chosen Adam that you read about in the book of Genesis, right? That's Yahweh Shah, right? As the chosen Adam. But it says what? There is Slakia. The last Adam was made a quickening spirit. You see? So Paul is likening the first Adam to the second Adam, which is Yahweh Shah, right? If you can understand. There's the same thing. Khan, shalom. Right. Khan, we got the brother Tazaiyar on here. All right, all praises. Praises. Khan. Right, but Khan, you got it. You got the Kings.
Khan, pop up in there real quick. Khan, so we got different generations in this thing, man. Brothers bringing out the Yahweh Shah regeneration, the end generation, Job, the Baptist, all these different generations. Even that's a regeneration. Abel and Jacob, that's a regeneration. Man. All right. So let me get this real quick in Genesis chapter 4. And we might as well just read from the top, honestly. And I read, Adam knew Eve, his wife, and she conceived and bare Cain, and said, I have gotten a man from the Lord. And she again bare his brother Abel, and Abel was a keeper of sheep, but Cain was a tiller of the ground. So you had Cain and Abel, right? In the process of time, it came to pass that Cain brought of the fruit of the ground an offering unto the Lord, and Abel he also brought of the firstlings of his flock and of the fat thereof, and the Lord had respect unto Abel and to his offering, but unto Cain and to his offering he had no respect, and Cain was very wroth, and his countenance fell. And the Lord said unto Cain, Why art thou wroth? And why is thy countenance fallen? If thou doest well, shalt thou not be accepted? If thou doest not well, sin lies at the door. And unto thee shall be his desire, and thou shalt rule over him. And Cain talked with Abel his brother, and it came to pass, when they were in the field, that Cain rose up against Abel his brother and slew him. So Cain was kind of feeling some type of way because the Most High chose Abel's offering over Cain's. Cain felt some type of way. He was jealous, envious of Abel. So Cain going to kill Abel, right? We're going to keep going. I'm going to read verse 9. And the Lord said unto Cain, where is Abel thy brother? And he said, I know not. Am I my brother's keeper? And he said, what hast thou done? The voice of thy brother's blood cried unto me from the ground, and now art thou cursed from the earth, which hath opened her mouth to receive thy brother's blood from thy hand. When thou tillest the ground, it shall not henceforth yield unto thee her strength. A fugitive and a vagabond shalt thou be in the earth. And the fugitive and the vagabond means you're escaping and running away from judgment, right? And Cain said to the Lord, my punishment is greater than I can bear. Behold, thou hast driven me out this day from the face of the earth, and from the face shall I be hid, and I shall be a fugitive and a vagabond in the earth. And it shall come to pass that everyone that findeth me shall slay me. And the Lord said to him, therefore, whosoever slayeth Cain, vengeance shall be taken on him sevenfold. And the Lord set a mark upon Cain, lest any finding him should kill him. And what's that mark? Well, first, my question is, when did Cain ever get his judgment? That never happened yet. The second question is, what is that mark? Now, the mark could be a gunshot wound to the chest or in the arm. It could be a tattoo, right? But that mark was no melanin. Mark. I'm gonna prove it real quick. Because again, Cain, where Esau came back, well, Cain came back as Esau. Let me get this in Genesis chapter 25 and verse 25. In the first, see that? It's a lot here. It says, in the first came out red all over in her garment, and they called his name Esau. So Esau, the same way Cain was the firstborn, Esau was the firstborn. But this time Esau, he came out with no melanin, because again, that's that mark, right? And after that came his brother out, and his hand took hold on Esau's heel, and his name was called Jacob. And Isaac was 80 years old when she bare him. You see that? So the point is, Cain came back as Esau with no melanin. Esau has to get the judgment of Cain because those are the same people. Abel and Jacob are the same people. Even when you read Ezekiel 35 and verse 5, Esau is killing his brother all over again, man. So there's nothing new under the sun. They got that same evil behind spirit. Okay.
Con, it's like your quick point on Cain, right? When it says vengeance shall be taken, anybody that kills Cain, vengeance shall be taken on him sevenfold, right? And we know that how Cain basically came back as Esau, right? Through the regeneration. And Abel came back as who? Jacob, right? It makes sense, right? It makes perfect sense. But basically, and we can take this on another fold, right? When people, I'm gonna say, especially when Israelites, right? When Israelites kill Edomites, right? Especially in this society, guess what, bro? You're gonna be catching hell, right? You're gonna be catching hell, and you're gonna be locked up forever, right? Guaranteed. Guarantee if a Jake kills an Edomite right now, you're gonna get locked up forever. And he might even get shot, right? Get tased, beat to the ground, dogs sitting on him, right? His name is going to be defamed, right? He's going to be put all over the internet, all over the news, right? Vengeance shot is going to be taken on you sevenfold, right? Because you killed an Edomite, right? So, that's just another level or another fold that I heard from Sakari. You know what I'm saying? Like, they kind of put that out there, right? And then, that kind of makes sense too, right? But Khan, you got it.
Come on. Let me get it in there, right? This is Genesis chapter 14. Did you already bring this out? Talking about Melchizedek?
But you can go ahead and do it again, though.
La. I'm gonna get you already brought John 9.
John Khan.
All right. Second Ezra 14.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Khan, y'all got it. Let me try to find something.
Khan. Let me see. I'm trying to think of precept we didn't bring out, man. Going into Adam real quick, right? Let's go to the book of Second Ezra chapter 3, right? I'm going to Adam real quick.
Oh, Khan, I was gonna go in there too. You got it, Khan.
Oh, Khan, yeah, you can bring that out then.
You going to 2 Corinthians?
No, I was going to second Ezra chapter 3, What's
Con,
it?
you got it. I got one after you.
Come. This is 2 Ezra chapter 3, verse 5. It says, and gave us a body unto Adam without soul, which was the workmanship of thine hands, and it is breathed into him the breath of life, and he was made living before thee. That breath of life is going into wisdom, right? When you read Wisdom of Solomon chapter 7, I believe, verse 24, right on down, right? Wisdom of Solomon 7, Wisdom of Solomon 7 and 24. I'm gonna just read it. For wisdom is more moving than any motion. She passeth and goeth through all things by reason of her pureness. For she is the breath of the power of God, and a pure influence flowing from the glory of the Almighty. Therefore can no undefiled thing fall into her. So wisdom is likened unto that breath of the Most High, right? Because guess what? We were just vessels, right? Before the truth, we were just vessels. And so the Most High spiritually put that breath of life into our nostrils, and we breathed that in, and we became living. Just because your heart is beating doesn't mean that you're living, right? Just because you're jumping out of the damn plane 10,000 feet in the air doesn't mean that you're living, right? Just because you got a damn mansion and 12-car garage, 21 Savage, right? Doesn't mean that you're living. In fact, you're actually dead, right? But that's a little bit too deep for Jake, right? This is 2 Ezra chapter 3, verse 6. And thou leddest him into paradise. So Adam was led into paradise, man. Right? He was led into paradise because back then, this is the antediluvian world, right? Meaning pre-flood world. So we can only imagine what it looked like before then, right? It was like paradise, right? What it says, and thou leddest him into paradise, which thy right hand had planted before ever the earth came forward. And unto him thou gavest commandment to love thy way, to love thy way, which means to keep the commandments, which he transgressed, and immediately thou appointest death in him and in his generations, of whom came nations, tribes, people, and kindreds out of number. And every people walked after their own will and did wonderful things before thee and despised thy commandments. Right? So first of all, Adam, he wasn't just some damn regular old man just walking around, right? He was the king over that place. You can read about that in the book of Genesis chapter. So let's just pull it real quick, right? So, and we know that Yahweh Shah, he has dominion, right? Over all these nations and kindreds and people, right? So Yahweh Shah, just like how Yahweh Shah has power over these people and nations, Adam had that same dominion. So it's just further proof, going into the same type of characteristics that Yahweh Shah had with the chosen Adam, right? Genesis chapter 2, verse 15, and the Lord God took the man and put him into the garden Eden to dress it and to keep it. Meaning what? Keep it in check. Enforce the laws, statutes, and commandments. That's what Yahweh Shah is going to be doing in the kingdom. Right? But and it's like one more precept. This is Luke chapter 3, where I'm pass it on. All right. The book of Luke chapter 3, just to put the nail in the coffin. I believe this is verse 23. All right. Oh, Slack. And this is the book of Luke chapter 3, verse 38. It says, which was the son of Enos, which is Enoch, which was the son of Seth, which was the son of Adam, which was the son of God. Right? So we know that that Yahweh Shah is the literal son of God.
What precept was that?
That's Luke 3 and 38. Yeah. And so now it's calling Adam the son of God as well. So God.
Quick precept for that. So you already brought out 1 Corinthians chapter 15.
Verse 44.
I'll bring out actually verse 47. Actually.
Okay, yeah.
We're verse 45. Well, this y'all gotta read this chapter, man. For real. Right? Verse 45 though, right? And so it is written, the first man, Adam was The first man, Adam, was made a living soul. The last Adam was made a quickening spirit. Right? You could read that Genesis 2 and 7. Right? John chapter 6 and verse 63, man. Right, literally, Yahweh Shai was made a quickened spirit. He was made a quick. Also, Isaiah chapter 11, right, and verse 1 on down. Right, you literally, Yahweh Shai was made a quickened spirit. Then what? Before that was Adam, right? Then he was made, literally a quickened body, huh? Right, quickened life, a quickened form, right, quickened like a new man, like damn, like the Son of God, huh? Literally, right? It says, verse 46, how bait that was not first, which is spiritual. So it wasn't really spiritual back then. No, literally, hey, we don't know if Yahweh really, made Adam out of the ground in Genesis 2 and 7. Huh? We don't know that, right? But he probably really did because, hey, we know the soil was the same skin color as him. It was the same, texture as he is, huh? Right, for real, right? Come how bait that was not first, which is spiritual, but that which is natural. So those things were happening natural, man. Adam was being formed naturally through the power of the Most High, man. Naturally, he was forming. Right? I also read that in Romans chapter 9. Right? How the Lord literally forms man, right? But that which is natural, and afterward that which is spiritual. The first man is of the earth. Slucky. The first man is of the earth. The second man is the Lord from heaven. So that just shows how their jobs and how parallel their lives are with each other, man. And they both got like damn near the same mission, to give life to people, man. Literally, right? First, it was naturally Adam was giving life to Noah and the sons of God, and Enoch, man. Yahweh Shai, in a spiritual level, he gave life to his apostles and all his disciples, man. Right? That's plain upon tables. That just shows you the parallel of their life, and that just shows you that could be a regeneration right there, man. Come, one more verse, right? As is the earthy, such are they that are earthy, and as in the heavenly, such are they also that are heavenly. So hey, that's also a parallel for the earthly and then parallel for the spiritual, man. So that just shows you they damn near got the same life, but just two different purposes, man. But on two different folds. One is natural and one is spiritual.
Got precept?
Con.
And I'm bringing this out. All right. I'm bringing this out. The book of Joshua, chapter 5, verse 13. It says, and it came to pass when Joshua was by Jericho that he lifted up his eyes and looked, and behold, there stood a man over against him, this sword drawn in his hand. And Joshua went unto him and said unto him, art thou for us or for our adversaries? So Joshua saw this man, he had his sword drawn, right? He had a sword drawn. And so Joshua was like, hey, are you for us or are you for our enemies? You know what I'm saying? Verse 14. Let's see what this man says. And he said, nay, but as a captain of the host of the Lord am I now come.
Yeah.
Right. So this man said, he said, hey, I'm the captain of the host of Yahweh. Right. He said, nay. He didn't even ask him. He didn't even answer straight. He didn't even say, yeah, no, you're not. Hey, don't trip. I'm from you. I'm for you. I'm I'm against your. I'm actually against your enemies. Right? No, he said, nay. He said, nah, none of that. Right? I'm the captain of the host of Yahweh. Right? That's how you know it's Yahweh shot, man. Right? Come. Because hey, sometimes I'm not saying that Yahweh Shah would dodge the question, but he wouldn't really answer it straightforward.
Straight back.
Come.
Yahweh Shai, man.
Come. There you put as captain the host of the Lord am I now come. And Joshua fell on his face to the earth. So Joshua recognized that this man is the captain of the host of Yahweh, that he's on a higher level, and he bowed down, right, and did worship and said unto him, what saith my Lord unto his servant? Right now, let's see if this is an angel or is it a man that's higher than the angels. Remember, if you bow down before an angel, he's going to say, hey, see thou do it not. Get up. I'm your fellow brother, and I'm your fellow servant. Right? What are you doing? Get up. Worship the Most High. That's what the angel did in Revelation chapter 19, as well as Revelation chapter 22, when John tried to worship the angel. Let's see what this man does, right? Verse 15. And the captain of the Lord's host said unto Joshua, loose thy shoot from off thy foot, For the place wherein thou standest is holy, and Joshua did so. Only time when Yahweh says, or when the Most High says that, is in Exodus chapter 3, right? When he's talking to Moses, and the angel of the Lord out of the burning bush literally said that to Moses to take off your shoes. Where you stand is holy ground. And so this captain of the Lord's host is saying that same exact thing, proving that this is Yahweh Shah, right? And also that what? Because and this is not an angel. It's not your ordinary son of the Most High. Because if it was if it was an angel, he said, "Look, see thou doing not. Don't do that, right? Why you worshiping me?" You know what I'm saying? The angel, in Joshua chapter 13, when when Manoah and his wife try to kind of sacrifice onto and give credit unto the angel, it said, "Hey, no, if you will offer a burnt offering, offer it to Yahweh." Right? That's what he said. But this man, he didn't even say that. He said, "Hey, take your shoes off." Right? Oh shit! Like damn, Kanye.
I got a preacher with that, Salakia. This is about the Chronicles, chapter 13 and verse 12. And behold, God himself is with us for our captain, and his priests with sounding trumpets to cry alarm against you, O children of Israel. Fight ye not against the Lord God to your fathers, for ye shall not prosper. So it says God himself is with us for our captain. Talking about Yahushua. Not the our God, but Yahushua. He's the captain of the host. The Lord Sabaoth. Right? Just another precept.
That's right, Khan. That's a good precept.
Right, quick precept as well. Right, you already brought out Psalm chapter 72, talking about Solomon and Yahushua.
Right.
This is Psalm chapter 72 and verse 1. Right, give the king thy judgments, O God, and thy righteousness unto the king's son. Right now, who's the King of Kings, man? Now, who's the Lord of Lords? Let's go to the book of Isaiah, chapter 30. I believe that's 33, right? 33 and verse 22. Right? For the Lord is our judge, the Lord is our lawgiver, the Lord is our king, he will save us. Right? So, hey, the most high, he's literally our king. But also, you can read that throughout the whole book of Judges, man. Literally. Right? The most high Yahweh, he's our king. And it says, right? And thy righteousness unto the king's son. Right now, who's Yahweh's son? Huh? Yahweh Shah. All right, but let's just keep reading though. Right? Verse 2, he shall judge thy people with righteousness and thy poor with judgment. Plain upon tables. He fulfilled those things, huh? Of course he's going to fulfill them again. But hey, on his first coming, he judged the poor and gave the poor, what they needed, man. Broke that damn fish and those breads down to the people, man. That little piece of damn bread, he broke it down to the poor. He gave those things to those people. All right, let's read Isaiah chapter 11 real fast, right? You already brought this out a lot.
Isaiah 11?
Let me get this real fast. To prove that Yahweh Shai, he's the one he shall judge thy people with righteousness and thy poor with judgment. And now that can't be talking about anybody, man. It's literally talking about the king's son, which is Yahweh Shai. Right? But let me get it real fast. All right. Isaiah chapter 11 and we'll read verse 4. Right? But with righteousness shall he judge the poor and reprove with equity for the meek of the earth, and he shall smite the earth with the rod of his mouth, and with the breath of his lips shall he slay the wicked. Now literally, Yahushua did all those things, man. And he's going to fulfill more and more of those things, more and more of those prophecies, man. But it's written though, right? The king's son is going to fulfill all those things. He's going to give righteousness to the poor. He's going to judge the people that need to be judged in this thing. That's Yahushua, man. That on another photo, it's literally, right, if you got the 1611, it says a psalm for Solomon. So is it Solomon or Yahushua, man? It's literally, a regeneration of Yahushua. Solomon on another level was, Yahushua, right? Well, y'all got precepts on that, on Solomon? I was finna pull a few more if y'all don't got that.
We kind of touched on that.
You already got Wisdom of Solomon 7?
You got it. I did verse 1 and verse 2, but that's it. Everything else you got, though, King.
The water. I'm gonna get I believe, right. I'm gonna link it up with Wisdom of Solomon 7. I'm gonna link that up with, I believe, John chapter 1 and verse 10. I believe. Right. Yahweh Shai, I'm not even gonna spoil it though. Hold on, let me get there. Damn, man. Right. So, right. John chapter 1 and 1. Right. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. The same was in the beginning. Right. The same was in the beginning with God. Right. So, hey, he's talking about the Word of God. Right. All things were made by Him, and without Him was not anything made that was made. Slaki. Was not anything made that was made. In Him was life, and His life was the light of man. Right. Now we're gonna Slaki. I believe it was verse. Damn, man. Well, let's just get this. It'll validate, Yahweh knowing all things and Solomon knowing all things as well. We'll also read the whole book of Ecclesiastes, Solomon, that man had wisdom. Salaki, y'all. Damn. All right, come on. Right, Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 7, in verse, we'll start at 17. Right, for he has given me certain knowledge of the things that are namely to know how the world was made. Right? Who else can know that, man? No, it's not. Solomon's not no regular God. He's not no regular person that was just born out of David, man. No, that's literally Yahweh Shai right there, man. Right? For he has given me certain knowledge of the things that are, namely to know how the world was made and the operation of the elements, the beginning, ending, in the midst of the times, the alterations of the turning of the sun, and the change of season. That's plain upon Savior. That's Yahweh Shai, man. Hamashiach. He literally, you can read in 2 Ezra chapter 6 how he made the world, man. No, Yahweh Shai literally made this whole world. It's plain. That's very plain. Yahweh Shai, he's the one who made the world. And Solomon said he knows about it. So that just shows, regeneration, through Solomon is Yahweh Shai.
That's right.
It's fine.
And also touching on Solomon. Solomon, literally his name, it means peace, right? Literally, Solomon means peace, right? And we know that Yahweh Shah is also, as much as he's the man of war and a hard man and an austere man, reaping where he did not sow, right? Et cetera, right? And also, Luke 19:27, bring those, and those are my enemies, which will not that I should reign over them, bring hither and slay them before me, right? Slay them before me, meaning come over here, let me see it, right? And kill them, right? Let the blood splatter, right? Hey, Yahweh Shai, he's like that. But on another level, because, the Most High deals with just balances. That's Proverbs 11:1. Yahweh Shai is also has a side of peace, right? Literally, he's called the Prince of Peace in Isaiah 9:6, right? Like how the brother Ahbayah brought out Melchizedek, right? He was the king of Salem, right? The king of peace. You see that? So Yahweh Shai, he's the king of peace too, right? And so basically, when you read First Kings, Solomon's reign was like a foreshadowing of the kingdom, right? Israel was doing good, and there was no war in the land. When we go to the book of Micah, actually, let's go to the book of Jeremiah chapter 23. That's better, right? This is Jeremiah chapter 23, verse 5. Behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that I'll raise unto David a righteous branch. This is talking about Yahweh Shai. And a king shall reign and prosper, and shall execute judgment and justice in the earth. In his days, right, Judah shall be saved, and Israel shall dwell safely. Right? Judah shall be saved, and Israel shall dwell safely. In the time of First Kings, when Yahweh Shai, or Salah, well, technically, when King Solomon was reigning, and there was no war, right? There's no war. You know what I'm saying? With the other nations, they were actually bringing tributaries onto us, right? They were bringing gifts and presents, right? And nations came to hear the wisdom of Solomon, right? You can read about that. But it says, Judah shall be saved and Israel shall dwell safely. And this is his name, whereby he shall be called the Lord our righteousness. You see that? So when Yahweh establishes his kingdom, it's going to be like back in the former days when there's going to be peace and tranquility throughout the earth, especially for the nation of Israel. However, for the other nations, it will not be so, right? It will be some type of peace, but if they buck up, of course, no rain shall be upon their land. Like it says in Zechariah 14. Kanye got it.
This precept for validation, what you said in 1 Kings 4:24. I don't know if y'all brought this out, but where he had dominion over all the region on this side of the river, from Tefsah even to Hazah, over all the kings on this side of the river, and he had peace on all sides round about. Talking about Solomon. And if I'm not mistaken, in Hebrew, his name is Solomon or Solomon, however you want to say it. It's Shalom, but Solomon, you know.
That's right.
Precept too, right, to validate everything, right? The brothers is bringing out. Right, this book of Psalms, chapter 72. And I'm gonna read verse, right, the same chapter, right? Psalm 72 in verse 7. We'll read verse 6. He shall come down like rain upon the mowing grass, as showers that water the earth. In his days shall the righteous flourish, in abundance of peace, so long as the moon endureth. He shall have dominion also from sea to sea, and from river to river, and from the river unto the ends of the earth. They that dwell in the wilderness shall bow before him, and his enemies shall lick the dust. It's plain. That literally happened to Solomon. And I got a precept. Right? It's the book of 1 Kings chapter 9 and verse 9. Right? So lucky. Is this what I wanted? Bro. So lucky, y'all. Well, I can't really find that precept. All praise, man. Right, this book of First Kings chapter 11 and verse 3. No, so lucky. Verse. Bro, that's not what I wanted either, man. Well, it was just talking about it was just Queen Sheba coming over there.
10.
10 and what?
You can start verse
10 and 1. Damn, I went right past that thing, man. All right, 1 Kings chapter 10 and 1, the water though. Right? And when the Queen of Sheba heard of the fame of Solomon, right? So, hey, back in the day, we didn't have technology, man. Somebody didn't damn post Solomon talk about, he's the most famous person in the world. It's literally, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahshai that he earned that fame. Right what it says right here. Right, in his days shall righteous flourish in the abundance of peace, so long as the moon endureth. He shall have dominion from sea to sea. So everybody knew about Solomon, man. He shall, it's not he might, he literally will have dominion from sea to sea. That happened. Queen Sheba, hey, who knows where she was at, man? Probably damn Ethiopia or something like that, man. And she heard it, she heard of Solomon, right? Concerning the name of the Lord, she came to prove him with hard questions, and she came to Jerusalem with a very great train, with camels that bear spices, and very much gold and precious stones. And when she was come to Solomon, she communed with him of all that was in her heart. Solomon told her all her questions. There was not anything hid from the king, which he told her not. So that's plain upon tables. Now he knew everything, huh? There's none you can ask this man Solomon that he wouldn't know. Literally. He knew about he probably knew miles per hour by that time. Probably how fast the wind was going east, west. How the sea, how the sea travels. What type of waves come in at this time of the night, man. No, you probably know all these things. You know, that's why. That's literally Yahweh Shai in the flesh, man. You ready? Right? And that's plain, man. That's very plain. Right? But I'm going to jump to verse 11. Right? Psalm chapter 72, verse 10. The kings of Tarshish in the isles shall bring presents. The kings of Sheba and Sheba shall offer gifts. Prophecy being fulfilled. Huh? It's plain upon tables. Right? Yeah, all kings shall fall down before him. All nations shall serve him. Solomon and Yahweh Shah. That's going to happen to Yahweh Shah as well. All nations are going to serve him. Now, what the brother said earlier, Luke 19 and 27. Huh? People that don't want to serve Yahweh Shah are going to die.
You know? That's right. Also, here's another point too. Let's go to Psalm 1 and 3. It says, because of the Savior of thy ointments, thy good ointments, thy name is an thy name is as an ointment poured forth. Therefore, do the virgins love thee. You see that? We all know how many wives Yahweh Shah, or how many wives King Solomon had, right? He had 1,000 wives, right? So women did love him. Now we know that this precept, you know, the scriptures are double to that which is. So this is in the spiritual application of the scripture, right? We understand that the elect, they're the virgins, and we love Yahweh Shah. Not saying that, you know, I'm the elect for sure, but the elect, those that's drawn into this truth, they love the truth. They love Yahweh Shah. They're drawn in because of the smell that Yahweh Shah has, right? So, of course, and of course, we're seen as the women of the Lord. We're seen as the wife of the Lord, right? The virgins of the Lord, right? So we're attracted to Yahweh Shah on a spiritual level. You know what I'm saying? Because of his smell. And so on a carnal level, hey, they were attracted to King Solomon. You know what I'm saying? Because he was not only comely in appearance, but he also smelled good, right? and hey, guess what? He was the king. So, you know, it's just a lot of parallels. When you go to the book of First Kings, chapter 4, and verse 29, and God gave wisdom, Slakia. God gave Solomon wisdom and understanding exceeding much, and largeness of heart, even as the sand that is on the seashore. So we understand that Yahweh Shah is the wisest man to walk upon the face of the earth. So, and King Solomon was as well. So when we understand that, right? Look at these are the two wisest men, right? Who's more wiser than King Solomon? Right? We understand that Yahweh Shah, the Lord gave him a lot of wisdom and understanding. But King Solomon also had this as well. So it's just a lot of parallels between King Solomon and Mahashiach Yahweh Shah. All right. Yeah, come on.
I got a quick point too. Your brothers don't got one. All right. Come on. All right, this is Songs of Solomon, right, chapter 8. So let me go to Philippians first. Right, because we all know, you know, how we supposed to be joined with Yahweh Shah. You know, let me just get this real fast. Philippians chapter 2. Come, right? Philippians chapter 1 and verse 26. Right? We'll start at verse. Damn, bro. Let me.
What you looking for?
It's specifically going into like we gotta just any precept going into we gotta be joined with Yahweh Shai through wisdom and keeping, you know, his faith, keeping the faith. You know, just anything like that. But there's one specific one I'm looking for in Philippians. It's lucky, here it is. Right, Philippians chapter 2 and verse 8. We'll read verse 7. Right, but made himself of no reputation, and took upon him the form of a servant. It was made in the likeness of men. And having been found in fashion as a man, he humbled himself and became obedient unto death, even the death of the cross. Wherefore God has also has highly exalted him and given him a name which is above every name,
Yeah.
that at the name of Yahweh every knee shall bow, right? Of things in heaven and things in earth and things under the earth, right? I believe this is the point, right? Every tongue should confess that Yahweh Shai Mashiach is Lord, the glory of God our Father, God the Father, right? So, Salaki, I believe it was a little bit more down. Damn, man. I be losing my damn scriptures when I highlight everything in chapters, man, for real, right? But it's verse 16, right? Holding forth the word of life, right? Holding forth the word of life, that I may rejoice in the day of Christ, that I have not run in vain, neither have labored in vain. So we have to hold forth the word of life. Right now, this is the book of Songs of Solomon, chapter 8 and verse 1, right? Oh, that thou were as my brother that sucked the breast of my mother. When I should find thee without, I would kiss thee, yet I should not be despised. Right, here's the point. Well, that's simply put, right? Our mother is this wisdom. You know, Yahweh Shai, you can read in the book of John chapter 10, verse 26 through 27. He's going to lead us to that wisdom. You know, John chapter 10, that whole chapter, man. You know, Yahweh Shai, he literally is going to lead us to that thing, to that, to the eternal salvation. Right? And Solomon, he just said, hey, basically damn near the same thing, but on a more deeper level. Right? Oh, that thou were as my brother. We become brothers if we're joining Christ, man. Not, damn hoopers or something like that. We literally become one when we're joined to Christ. Now that's what Solomon just said. Well, that thou were as my brother that sucked the breast of my mother. When I should find thee without, I would kiss thee, yet I should not be despised. I would lead thee and bring thee into my mother's house. Who would instruct me? I would cause thee to drink of spiced wine, of the juice of my pomegranate. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but hey, that sounds like Yahweh Shai to me, man. The whole book of John chapter 10. If I'm wrong, come on. Brothers get the point, man. John chapter 10, if you ain't read it right now, bro. Read it later. You gotta be led by Yahweh Shai. Hold forth the word of life, just like Solomon said. Right? We gotta suck the breast of our mother, man. It's that same little, bits of wisdom that they both give us, damn near parallel with each other, man. And that's how we know these two are very similar. It could be damn near the same people, the same person.
Calm. Right. Hey, I got another point too. Right. Let's go to the book of Psalms. Like the brother was bringing out. Let's go to Psalms. Right. 72. Wait, hold on. It's the book of Psalms, chapter 72. Or unless you had a precept slot.
No, you got it.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 72, and verse number 4. It says, "He shall judge the poor of the people. He shall save the children of the needy, and shall break in pieces the oppressor." So how did Yahweh Shah break, or Salaki, I keep saying, how did King Solomon break in pieces the oppressor? He didn't do that. Pull up the account right now about how King Solomon went to war and broke down certain nations of people. He didn't do that. Otherwise, he wouldn't be called Solomon, right? The King of Peace, right? It wouldn't make sense. There was no war going on. So this is metaphorically or kind of spiritually talking about Yahweh Shah. Let's go to the book of Revelation, chapter 19 and verse 15, right? I'm starting verse 14. And the armies which were in heaven followed him upon white horses, clothed in fine linen, white and clean. It's talking about Yahweh Shah coming with the thousands of heaven, right? When he comes back. Verse 15. And out of his mouth goeth this sharp sword, that with it he should smite the nations. See that? So Yahweh Shah, he's not going to hug the nations. He's not going to save the nations. He's going to smite the nations. But you still think that your Edomite friend is going to get saved, right? It says he's going to smite the nations, man, right? It says, and he shall rule them with a rod of iron. What does it mean to rule a nation with a rod of iron? That means rule them with rigor and have no mercy and have very, very little mercy on them, right? That's what it means to rule a nation with a rod of iron. Getting hit, right? Getting beat down, you know. You barely have any rights, right? Et cetera, et cetera. We were ruled with a rod of iron before. Israelites been through that multiple times, under multiple captivities, man. Right? Israel has been in so many captivities that Jeremiah said, "Is Israel a homeborn slave?"
Yeah.
Right? Exactly, right? Let's keep going. And he shall rule them with a rod of iron, and he treadeth the winepress of the fierceness and wrath of Almighty God. He's gonna be treading the damn winepress, man. Right? And what is that winepress? These other nations. He's gonna be treading upon them. What does it mean to tread? It means to walk upon, to stamp, to stomp on, right? That's what Yahweh Shah is going to be doing upon these other nations. Going to be dancing in the blood of the wicked, like it says, right? So calm, got it.
All right, I get a quick one. All right, let's get Tazaiyar chapter 45.
Salaki, I'm about to hop off. I got a lot of stuff I still gotta do.
Calm,
Yeah, how about Shmi? How shall the rocket stop?
calm. Yahweh Bashim, Yahweh Shabbat.
Come on.
Shalom.
Shalom.
All right. Man. Psalm chapter Sirach 45 and verse 25. Right. And it reads, according to the covenant made with David, son of Jesse, of the tribe of Judah, the inheritance of the king should be to his pottery alone. So the inheritance of Aaron should also be unto his seed. Right, so plain upon tables. Right, Sluggy, here's the point, verse 26. Well, that's plain as well, though. Sluggy. Right, but Sluggy, that's plain as well too, right? David, in his literal, offspring, there will always be the kings, man. Josiah, King Josiah, who else? Absalom, all his sons, those are literally fit to be kings, man, because they're literally his damn seed, man. Now, if you could read the whole book of Matthew chapter 1, the genealogy of Yahweh Shah, and that's literally David, right? David is one of his forefathers in this thing, man. Right, but here's a point, verse 26. God give you wisdom in your heart to judge his people in righteousness, that their good things be not abolished, and that their glory may endure forever. Plain upon tables, and Yahweh Shai, he's going to be the one to do that. I don't even want to read that next verse, bro, because it is deep if you really get into that next verse, bro. The next chapter, actually, bro. This it. Why all the time in the Old Testament, so-called Old Testament, they mention God give you, judgment, and God give you righteous judgment. God give you this and that. They always say the parallel thing. Give him judgment, give him righteous judgment, give him this and that, and they're always the same because they know this talking about one person through the Spirit, huh? It's literally talking about Yahweh Shah. He's literally going to be that one to fulfill all these prophecies that were in Isaiah chapter 11, Isaiah 13. Sirach 45 and 25, man. He's literally gonna judge his people in righteousness, man, on both folds. On his first and his second coming, man. He did those things. Right? Come on. That's plain.
Yeah, we can bring out closing.
Next page.
All right. Uh, you got yours or
Wow, you get yours first.
Khan? I'm gonna go to just a classic, right? It's Book of Revelation, chapter 22, right? Oh, actually, hey, I'm gonna end it off with this. Hey, all praise the Most High, right? This is Book of Revelation, chapter 10, and verse 10. And I took the little book out of the angel's hand and ate it up, and it was in my mouth sweet as honey. And as soon as I had eaten it, my belly was bitter. Meaning the different stages in this truth, right? The honey, which is what? The sweet things.
Mm-hmm.
Because the little book is the scriptures. When you consume it, when you come to this truth and you actually understand the totality of the scripture, right? When we first come in, it's like honey. Everything's all good, man. I can testify to that. When I was first coming in, hey, it was beautiful, right? Newly married, right? Spiritually, if you got ears to hear, right? Damn, everything was going good. But when you finally understand that and that consume, when you eat that little book goes down into your belly, right? And you finally understand that, look, oh shoot, it's more than just saying Kwame Yasharala. I might have to die for this, right? It's more than just reading the book of Tobit. Hey, I gotta go out there and teach, you know. It's more than just you know, getting on Esau. Hey, I'm gonna be hated of all nations, right? Et cetera, et cetera. I'm gonna be persecuted. So that's what's the bitter part, right? But here's the point, verse 11. And he said unto me, thou must prophesy again before many peoples and nations and tongues and kings. This is a cut. This is a cut for anybody that does not believe in regeneration, man. Like literally, how can you answer this? The Lord said explicitly to the prophet John, right? To the apostle John, that you have to prophesy. You're going to have to prophesy against many different countries and kindreds and earth and tongues and kings, right? Can you hear me?
Gone.
Gone. So when did that happen? Because John, last time I checked, John died on the island of Patmos at around 100 AD. He didn't leave. Regeneration, right? So, Khan, you got it.
Some people would never understand that thing either, man.
All right.
It's crazy, right? But this is the book of Sirach, right? Chapter 30, 37, right? And I'm gonna read verse Salaki 47. We'll start at verse 13, right? Solomon reigned in a peaceable time and was honored, for God made all quiet round about him, that he might build an house in his name and prepare a sanctuary forever. How wise was thou in thy youth, and as a flood filled with understanding, right? Thy soul covered the whole earth, and thou filledest it with dark parables. Yahweh saw you literally ran. Yahweh saw he spoke in parables, plain, you know,
Plain.
very plain, right? Verse 16: Thy name went far into the lands, and for thy peace thou was beloved. The countries marveled at thee for thy songs and proverbs and parables and interpretations. By the name of the Lord God, which is called the Lord God of Israel, thou didst gather gold as time, and didst multiply silver as lead. Thou didst, damn man, just imagine that. You know, damn shoestring turned into gold. You know, the amount of shoestrings you guys just turned into gold. Now that's how it was coming in those times for Solomon. Huh? It's crazy, right? But I'm gonna jump to verse 23, right? Thus rested Solomon with his fathers, and of his seed he left behind him Rehoboam, right? Even the foolishness of the people, and one that had no understanding, who turned away the people through his counsel. There was also Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, who caused Israel to sin and showed Ephraim the way of sin. And their sins were multiplied exceedingly, they that were driven out of the land. For they sought out all wickedness till the vengeance come upon them. Plain upon table. So those kings, didn't have any understanding, right, at all what the hell to do after Solomon left the earth. Huh? Now look at, if you read the book of 2nd Ezra chapter 7, then what happened after Yahweh left the earth? It's going to be dark. That's very deep right there, huh? After Solomon, it was nothing but wicked kings after Solomon. So after Yahweh, it was nothing but darkness for that 7 days, for that long 7 days, that great silence. And that's written, So that's just plain upon tables that, Yahweh, he was Solomon back in those times, man, for real. Because everything has to be, natural, physical before it is spiritual with this thing, bro. That's plain,
Con. That's right. That's right, man. So with that, you know what I'm saying? This is Brother Yasharala.
Brother Tazaiyar Gabar.
Con coming back to y'all with yet another video through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashma Mashak Abashah. Lord willing, this is edifying, right? Kwam Yasharala, Shabbat Shalom, right? Con Shalom.
Shalom.